If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. This quote is often incorrectly attributed to Dr. Edward Deming, but he didn't say that. He said the opposite. He said it is a mistake to think that just because you cannot measure it, that you cannot manage it. Hi, I'm Lisa McLeod. I created the business concept Noble Purpose, and one of the things that people often ask me is when it comes to this topic of emotional engagement and passion, we can't evaluate people on that because how could we possibly measure it? Well, you actually can measure it. First, let me tell you what it looks like when you don't. How many times have you watched an organization put into place some sort of process, a 5-step sales process, a 3-step customer service process, a 4-step coaching process, and people get all laser-like focused on the process. Did I do all the 5 steps? Did I ask the 3 questions? And technically, they're checking all the boxes. But when you watch them execute, you just want to look at them and say, could you do it one more time with a little more feeling? Well, you can actually measure this. The example I like to use is figure skating. Now, if you've ever watched figure skating on television, say you've watched the Olympics, you probably know that in figure skating they give 2 scores. They give a technical merit score and they give an artistic impression score. Now, if we just judged figure skating on technical merit, it would be a really boring event. Instead, we also judge it on artistic impression. And that's where concepts like emotional engagement and noble purpose and passion all fit. As a layperson, I've never been an ice skater. None of my kids have been ice skaters. But over the years, as I've watched the Olympics, I realize I can actually judge artistic impression. I can usually pick, if not the winner, 2 or 3 of the winners. And guess what? So can you. So when you look at putting things into place where you want to measure people, it's not just measuring whether they went through the 5-step process. It's what was the artistic impression? Were they passionate? Did they smile? Did they seem like they cared? Because if I can manage to judge that on ice skating, your managers are smart enough to evaluate that on your employees. They might not get it perfect every time, but it's only when we start saying that we care about things like emotional engagement that we actually start to move the needle on results. And guess what? At the end of the day, the person who's passionate, the person who's emotionally engaged, is the person who ultimately wins for themselves and for their organization.